the world number one,
Ready
to begin.
.15 left.
That's impressive.
15
Well, he virtually had to hit 3 balls on the line or just inside to win the point, didn't he? But it was after Djokovic showed us his trademark defense skill to be able to hit the 3rd great shot in the rally in a row. Good start from Pouille there.
And it continues.
Well, he's an all-court player. You expect him to move forward here as Mansour Bahrami, one of my favourite tennis players there. Looking on keenly. He has to come forward, doesn't he? I think. Pouille, I mean, that's his game. He's an all-courter. He likes to come forward, finish the point at the net when he can. Fairly flat ground strokes, so there's a bit more risk in his ball than there is from Djokovic.
Emily Mauresmo, of course, a champion in her own right here in 2006. And, now with Lucas Pouille from the end of last year, was going to be the French Davis Cup captain, but decided to get on the road with the Frenchman, former coach to Andy Murray. Of course, was with Marion Bartley when Bartley won the Wimbledon title as well. So some serious coaching credentials.
Djokovic.
Marian Vida, who has been with Novak throughout the large majority of his career. Of course, a brief hiatus when Novak was looking for that motivation before Marian came back.
Cain, Djokovic. First game.
I think the worry for me is that Lucas Pouille played a good game there and he still lost it. That's what Djokovic does to you, you know. And the difference here is the margin for error in Djokovic's game from the back of the court. There's his serve. Had some issues with it early in his career, Djokovic, but it's certainly effective these days. And serves, he has the ability, the uncanny ability, like great players, to serve well at the right time. Not the biggest serve in the world, but awfully effective. Pouille's ground strokes just don't have the margin, do they, that Djokovic has, and he can hit 3 or 4 really good shots in a row and then spray one long by 2 meters. That's what you get when you hit the ball with a flat trajectory.
That's the exchange I just don't like for Pouille. Having watched him a lot in the last few years, if he gets caught in the backhand to backhand exchange,
You can't beat Djokovic from there.
He won't beat him, and also the thing is, at the moment they're pretty even on backhand speed, 119 Ks each, but when he gets nervous or feels like he loses that particular exchange, it drops dramatically, and he gives you a lot of time on the ball. Talked about work rate, and well, they haven't run too dissimilar a distance, as you can see. In fact, Novak and that brutal battle against Medvedev, that would have brought up his Ks that he had been running. The challenge for Pouille after his serve is to be able to get a good strike in with his +1 shot. And Novak, as we know, one of the best returners the game's ever seen, if not the best returner the game's ever seen. And he'll be looking to try and just keep extracting point after point with his relentless play. And you can just see here, look at this depth from Djokovic. First serve compared to Pouille's previous opponents is still a little bit better, 20 centimeters, but look at that difference on second serve. He is going to be pushing the Frenchman right off the court. Which makes those first serves so important, Fitzy.
Well, he's renowned for his depth. I'm sure he practiced that as a kid, was taught that, told to keep the ball deep. Has an amazing effect in this game of as. Masterclass of a point from Djokovic, and that is what Pouille faces this evening here in Melbourne. Points like this, time and time again. It's certainly daunting, isn't it? This is why he's #1. I mean, he can keep the ball in for long periods of time. He's probably the best modern defensive player we've ever seen, especially out of that backhand corner. And he can do that to finish points. So you have to do a lot of work to win just 1 point against Djokovic.
Cain, Djokovic.
It is his way, actually, for Pouille to go much bigger on the break points in terms of speed on his first serve. Not often tries to go so big on the second as he did there, but that is just because of the imposing opposition today that he faces, that he went so big. 177, and he missed it.
Fifteen love. Thirty love. This
is clinical. And he's nudging the speedometer right up into the red zone for where he's been serving some of his fastest serves of the tournament already in his second service game, 195. And that is how you consolidate a break, and that is a warning shot right across the bows of the Frenchman of just how tough this semi-final is going to be.
15 love.
I know this is a common thing to say for all of us, but to me, if Pouille doesn't serve really well tonight, he's going to have a lot of trouble. He has to hit a high percentage, and he needs some free points here. And a lot of other serves that will set up, put him in a position to attack his first ground stroke. That's how he has to play. It's the way he likes to play.
Yeah, look, in pure stats, this does not match up well for the Frenchman at all. They've never met before. You can try and formulate a plan, but at the same time, he has a worse second serve, points won by some considerable margin compared to Novak. Throughout the course of his career on a hard court, his first serve, second serve, return points won are significantly down compared to someone like Novak. So, you know, he's built a record on his service stats, not playing against Novak as well, and that is going to get chiseled down even further today for sure. Exhibit A.
30 all.
And that is the problem that he faces when it comes to big points. You know, does he just double down and go bigger, or does he make the serve? And he tries to make it here, and that's what's going to happen to it more often than not.
Precision. Gee, this looks ominous to me.
30.
Plus a player of Lucas Pouille's position. There's the rally shots there.
And that's the thing. Novak actually, in this tournament, has hit more backhands and forehands, which is a rare thing to see. But what it means is that he stays central. He's not out of position like Raonic was in the previous round in those rallies. So he can beat you from the middle of the court off both wings.
And Pouille's already in a position that he's never been in before. This is his biggest moment in his career right here tonight. He needs to respond in a very positive way and quickly, I think. I would say that's missing an easy one by Novak standards. He's annoyed.
See already, there's a bit tentative on his double-hander, isn't he? He's not got one of those forceful slices as well, Pouille. It's a very gentle float. And if you go to that too often against Novak, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. It's a stat for you, Fitzy. Novak on a hard court in his career has won more points returning the second serve than his opponents. The odds are in his favour when the opponent's hitting the second serve.
Yeah, okay.
That's frightening. Djokovic doesn't make this good news for Pouille right now.
Djokovic.
Yeah, the matchup doesn't look good, does it? Because Novak just doesn't have to take any risk here. He just has to keep the ball in. He gets natural depth on his ground strokes. He looks like he's in cruise control. He's barely breathing hard. And there's a murmur in the crowd here too. I think they sense that a little bit. Luca's got to make a start. You know, it's really interesting, I think, these Grand Slams where players get to the semis. They've played 5 matches already. It's the best result Lucas has ever had at this level. He's probably mentally so drained too, just to get here. Then you've got to produce again against this player. Whereas a player of the stature of Djokovic and the other great players that we talk about, they're used to this. They've been there before. They're good enough to win the early rounds pretty easy.
30 love.
Having said all of that, he is simply a better player as well. When he plays well, the stats don't lie. After just a couple of Frenchmen in Grand Slam, Sebastian Grosjean at Wimbledon in 2005, and of course Tsonga in Roland Garros 2012. So along with the Australian Open one that he lost to Joe as well.
Love 15.
Wow.
He doesn't really look like he's even hitting the ball that hard at the moment. He just caresses it near the line. So accurate.
He's got a lot of slice on that one.
15 all.
Well, that's keeping it short. That's about his the right length of point, but you can see why Novak was staring at it. Did it catch a piece of the line?
Let's listen.
It's just brilliant. There's not many players that could ever have done that, let alone in this current era. I mean, to improvise the way that he did there, manipulate his body into a position to hit a winner.
Well, and again, he's putting on a clinic in the first set. And he looks like he's in second gear.
Even
Third gear?
First.
No, don't be harsh.
Well, I mean, he looks like he could play like this forever. As you said, he isn't swinging hard. He's not out of his comfort zone. There's no loss of control.
Set points. Well, it was a bit of an experiment, really. He didn't need to play that. I mean, I think he does use that shot, but at the moment, all he needs to do is keep the ball in and defend like he's so unbelievable at doing. Not sure why he tried it, really. Wry smile.
why depth is so important against Pouille as well. As you look at him run in after his first serve, he takes a good 2.5 steps. Novak's able to rush him off the return. He also plays, for me, a little too close to the baseline against Novak. He doesn't give himself enough time, and therefore he's rushed. The unforced errors come.
There we go. Two famous sporting faces in Australia. David Warner on the left, cricketer, and Ricky Ponting, one of Australia's greatest ever batsmen, Mark. He caused you guys some pain there for a while.
He did, indeed. I'm quite happy to accept that. We love a bit of sporting rivalry. We'll get one on Sunday if Novak continues this way as well. I'm just padding out here so that you can not say what's next going to come.
No, it was compassionate. It was, I said he caused you some pain for a while, but I did say just for a while. Up for me in so many ways. I mean, Lucas there played a seriously good point. 21 shots. He had Djokovic moving all over the court, and I mean the way he defends, particularly out of the backhand corner, just always gets your attention. It's phenomenal. You can't break that backhand down, it seems.
Hasn't changed much since he was 4 years old, since his
30-15.
Jelena Ginkic, who came to the ski resort to run a summer clinic for tennis players. She, of course, sadly passed away in 2013 during the French, but was his early mentor, of course. Former coach to Monica Seles, spotted his genius even at 4. Was that for a bit of fate? Building a ski resort, happened to bolt on 3 tennis courts, which have more basketball played on them these days than tennis.
Gee, that was a big second serve, by the way, from Djokovic.
Game, Djokovic. New
7
balls, please.
games in a row.
Well,
first game, second.
I think now we're at a stage where Pouille has to win this service game. If he doesn't win this one, this could get ugly. So there's pressure on him here.
Let's just take a look at this. We've been talking about Rafa's serve throughout the tournament, his forehand and everything else. Look at this. Last time he won, 2016, beat Andy in the final here throughout the tournament. He averaged 154 kilometers an hour on his second serve. He has averaged 165 through this tournament. Significant.
That's a big second serve.
Yep, and it's consistent still as well. Time, the most precious commodity on a tennis court. Pouille having precious little of it.
He's got new balls here. He has to make a move of sorts in this game.
That's one of his favourite shots, the backhand drop shot. I haven't seen it precious little actually throughout the tournament here from the Frenchman. Not sure whether Mauresmo's banned it. He's played it infrequently, but that time got Novak as he was stepping back.
Thought he was going to do a one-handed push-up there. we're talking about, Mark. Gee, he needed that, Lucas Pouille. You know, if you've lost your first 3 service games, 30 love all of a sudden seems to open a door a little bit for you. An acknowledgement from the champ.
See again, talked a bit about it over the Australian summer. Pouille's movement after his serve, he takes extra steps than you need to, and you got caught again there. It was actually not a bad little pickup, but if you watch him serve, he just follows, I think, in too far. And if you're against somebody like Novak who returns as well as he does, often he's backpedaling hitting his first shot.
Well, this is big. Some form of stamp needs to go on this second set from Pouille here.
The drop shot, cross-court forehand that comes to his rescue a couple of times in that
game. 1 game on.
Boy, did he need that. He's not a European, like a normal looking European tennis player to me, because he hits the ball flatter than most. You know, a lot of the Europeans to me, you know, they have more margin on their ground strokes. They learn a lot of their tennis on clay. He's a real hard court player, isn't he? Hits the ball flat and doesn't. And this is a great ground stroker he's playing against. He doesn't look too comfortable if the rally goes beyond half a dozen shots or more. He likes to finish it as quick as he can. That's his style.
15 all.
There's that second serve, 176. So he might be averaging in the 160s, but he's beefing it up even more here on occasion.
Well, he's quicker today than he has been for the rest of the tournament, averaging 168. It's not giving Pouille any time on the second serve. Kind of a feature, really, back in 2016 for Novak, that big second serve coming in at sort of 110. Did it a lot on break points down the tee.
110 miles
an hour, yeah.
Okay.
Sort of where he is today, 168.
for one of his better rallies. You just got to be able to keep that ball in, don't you, for an extended period of time against Djokovic, because he will.
Cain, Djokovic.
Simple strategy, well executed, and a 2-1 lead in the second for Novak.
2-1.
Well, he hesitated, and if you hesitate, you'll be lost. He hit a good approach shot down the line, or could have used it as an approach shot. Just didn't move in immediately. Came in as an afterthought, really. Took it out of the air and didn't do enough with the cross-court swinging volley. Well, he needs a bucket load more of those.
Well, it was his off-season in Dubai with Roger that really allowed him to work harder on his serve, when his former coach, Emmanuel Plonk, who he was with for at least 6 years from 2012. He did a lot of the work. Another testing exchange between the two of them, but a lot of the work, the wonderful French coach that was with Pouille for that time, he went through all the trials and tribulations of taking a junior player through the pro ranks, abdominal injuries, wrist injuries, chipped a bone in his wrist for a while, Pouille.
Djokovic. It wasn't a simple pass in the end, but the opportunity was there.
It's the depth on the return, though. Look at him. Yeah, he's defending on his second serve.
It's underestimated, isn't it, in our game? Not enough coaches teach it, or certainly encourage their students to learn it.
Djokovic changing the call on the right.
Emmanuel and him practiced with Roger in Dubai on an off-season and saw how hard Roger worked on his serve. He was doing 200+ extra serves after the session, inspired by Roger. Novak's length actually inspired by Riccardo Piatti, who's working with Borna Coric right now, but was with Ivan Ljubicic, Milos Raonic, who's done a wonderful job with so many players, but was with Novak for a short period, sharing him with Ljubicic at that time. And that was one thing that Riccardo has always done well with his players, and right from the first ball of practice, depth. And he's gone big on his second serve again, and he's drawn another blank, as he did in his opening service game of the match.
Would Emily Mauresmo have told him that, do you think, before the start of the match, you've got to risk on your second serve? Or is he doing that, you think, Mark, because he's under so much pressure from the back of the court, doesn't want to rally?
That's a good question. The fact that it was the first break point of the match that he went into the mid-170s, I would say that that was probably a tactic that they had discussed pre-game.
Pre-planned. Well, you could almost see that coming, couldn't you? He's got a bag of tricks, has Djokovic.
Yeah, he's been averaging, Fitzy, 161 kilometres an hour on his second serve at break point. He's been up 10 miles an hour with his first serve when down break point. He goes big from 190 on average to 200 on break point, Pouille, but that's not a normal for this tournament. That's a Djokovic tactic. It hasn't paid off.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the great catches of all time on the centre court, that one.
It's good to see some.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's one hand, one bounce.
That's hands right there. Very impressive. This is too good for the court in this matchup. So Luca has to try to finish the points. He has to stand up, surely. I know the depth is there from Djokovic, but he has to try to take the ball early and finish it. The longer the rally goes here. He can't get the short ball, can he?
No. 40 low.
He actually had one short ball on that rally, but couldn't take advantage of it. He was just recovering from the previous deep one.
He's got very good three-quarter cross-court forehand. Pouille, it's one of his favourite plays, particularly on clay, followed by the drop shot back in behind you. His inside-out forehand, I would say, is not as strong.
Game Djokovic.
Novak's precision on serve has been
Djokovic leads by
outstanding.
4 games to 1.
And he extends his lead in this second set to 3 games. He leads 4-1. To be honest, he's barely lost sets. Today, he's barely losing games.
$15 low.
Well, it's an attractive brand of tennis he's producing right now. 16 winners, just the one unforced. We expected him to be watertight in terms of unforced errors, but that is an impressive number of winners as well.
A lack of concentration. You can't believe it. First of all, I was surprised he went across court with the approach, left himself a little vulnerable, and just took the foot off the gas. Lost concentration there.
See how much more natural it is for Pouille to go cross court. Then he's worked so hard on getting around the outside of the ball that actually to kind of flatten out, go inside, out down the line isn't an easy shot for him.
Out. 40-50. Game Pouille.
He got away with it. I like that. He has to play that style of play, I think. Having said that, he didn't do enough for that volley and was fortunate to get away with it.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 2.
You can see the stress on his face there. He's probably thinking, how do I win a lot of games out here? Gee, it's tough to win one, he's thinking. I'm not sure.
15.
Big second serve.
Third
You can see the wind's picked up a little bit there. You can see Novak's shorts and his shirt fluttering in the breeze there. It's a little stronger now. This stadium incredibly protected, really. There was a strong north wind here in Melbourne today, which normally means a hot wind.
Doesn't make the same mistake as he did in the previous game with the forehand volley.
Cain, Djokovic. Djokovic leads
Easing his way towards a 2-sets-to-love lead in this semi-final. Djokovic 5-2. Of the likes of Novak and Rafa.
Love 15.
Well, watching Pouille here, it becomes obvious, I think, that he feels he can't win playing normal tennis here. He's immediately trying drop shots. He's trying to hurt Djokovic with the first ground stroke if he can.
Brilliant.
15,
Well, he knows he wants to cheat to the backhand corner to keep hitting his forehand, and Novak's just not giving him any luxury to do so.
Well, before that miss hit, I was about to ask you, is it the best backhand you've ever seen? Forget that last point.
Yeah, no, I think it. I mean,
close, isn't it?
It's very close. I mean, a lot of players feel like Nishikori's double-hander.
40-13.
It's a clean hit, Nishikori's, but this backhand he just can't break down. I mean, he rarely misses it. He can thread the needle, so he can defend and attack, and hardly ever misses it.
His dad actually did an interview for Newsweek back in 2016. Novak saying he's got video footage of him at 4, and his backhand looks pretty much the same then as it does today.
Just purely natural, I guess.
Yes.
Just looking at Mauresmo's time with Andy, actually, during their time together, he played Novak 12 times. He managed the one win in Canada in 2015. Certainly not an easy matchup, this one, to figure out a coherent plan that's going to work consistently. He's tried quite a bit here, hasn't he? He's tried body serves, he's tried drop shots. Not sure where else he can explore, the Frenchman. That's certainly not going to work. Wild backhand, and it is a commanding 2 sets lead.
Love 15.
Well, he's missed a couple there, Djokovic hasn't he? And I'm sure that the intensity overall is not at 100% here. I mean, he got to that ball almost at the top of the apex. I mean, it was a drop shot. He was there almost before the ball started to come down again. He was there that early. He just, for once, played a poor reply.
15.
I just feel like Pouille's got to drop off a little bit just to try and give himself a bit more time to swing at these returns. He's only getting 57% of the balls back into play to even give himself a chance in the rallies. Because you never know. Get the ball back into play,
15,
just
13.
maybe something good can happen.
Let's second.
It's a 15-30 point, which really is a big point for Djokovic on his serve. He bounces the ball longer.
There was a ball early on in the rally on his backhand that he could have maybe stepped in, and he let the ball sort of drop. And I think those are the moments, Fitzy, you've been talking about, trying to keep the point short and see it an opportunity to step in and do something earlier than allow that kind of rally to develop too often. Brilliant. Hits that shot so well. Very little follow through, just a great racket head acceleration.
I can't help thinking that when he bounces the ball longer, he concentrates more. He's stealing himself. So he was under a tiny bit of pressure there at 15-30. First game of the third. He doesn't want to lose it. He's played 2 good points since.
Cain, Djokovic.
Pretty sure.
First game, third set.
Carlos Moya at some stage in his career when he played Novak, which he did on 4 occasions, also alluded to the fact, somebody said, does it upset your rhythm? And he said, no, it doesn't matter to me. He said, the only problem is when he does it, I know he's going to hit a great serve. And he does.
Invariably, doesn't he?
Well,
I saw a quote from him once saying that he was born to do this. Like Nadal, like Federer. He's right.
Love 15.
Well, not a bad play, but you got to make those volleys. If you're going to make any inroads, serve volley occasionally, but when you do it, you got to make the shot. So, not playing quite well enough, is he, even on the opportunities here, Pouille?
15 all.
If you drop shot across court like that, it's going to take longer to get from A to B. I think he's quick enough to get to the one down the line as well, Djokovic, but
that's plan D.
Yes.
Desperation.
Didn't work.
Problem with dropping down through the letters for plans is when plan A doesn't work well enough against somebody like Djokovic, B doesn't either.
Good ball there. Good to see. Step in and hit it with accuracy. I'm sure he's a lot more mentally drained too coming into this match than Djokovic is, because it's his first trip there.
Got caught out with a great second serve there. You got the sense that Djokovic was going to rifle that return if he did get something on it. Yeah, Huguebert, of course, in the men's doubles final on Sunday. Playing again with Nicholas Mahut. They'll take on their continent peers who are back in form as one Frenchman out there. It's a rousing reception from this crowd who are desperate for a competitive match. It's back to 17 in the world after this run to the last four here. Pouille dropped down a little bit in 2018. Started to think about making a little bit of a change to the coaching team at that stage. Of course, he has been in the top 10, which he was actually somewhat surprising at the start of that year. It wasn't such a bad year. How was that for a change up on the second?
30 love.
Well, not only that, but Pouille hit one heck of a return here. So he kicks the serve in with a lot more spin. Pouille reads it well and plays an amazing shot really down the line, controlling it. And look at this shot. A defensive forehand that ended up winning him the point. How do you break him down? It's not easy.
And one of the big problems for players against Novak is this evenness of his attack off backhand and forehand. he's happy to stay in the middle. We talked about it right at the start of the match. There are no big holes, so he's never really off balance, so he can push to the forehand. Other players hit that serve, they're looking to back into their backhand corner. You can get them down the line. Doesn't exist with him. It's magical, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a start.
Djokovic leads by
that was just
2-1.
weaving magic as it went over the net.
Love.
Novak, of course, looking to win a third consecutive Grand Slam title. He won 3 straight in 2011 through to 12. And, of course, held all 4
15 all.
when he won all the 4 majors in 2015, continuing through to 2016. Incidentally, he'd be the first person to have done
15-30.
3 times. Of course, Rod Laver won the career Grand Slam twice.
By the way, have you noticed the 2 backhands he's just hit on returns? Just outstanding. Oh, he misses one. Okay, well that stands out when he actually misses one. But there's been some good serves here, and he's rifled a couple of returns back off that backhand wing. The wing that is very difficult to break down. Or more difficult than the forehand wing. Okay.
(40-30).
Good to see Luke follow it up with something good here, mate.
Well, it was his fastest serve of the match in the previous point, and Novak responds with arguably one of his best backhands.
You just have to sit and admire some players, don't you? I mean, this is one of them.
Juice.
Unbelievable defense. Unbelievable.
And you can tell when he gets there, Mark, he's deliberately hitting that ball deep. He's not just thinking about getting it back in the box or anywhere over the net. He's thinking already, even when he's at an extreme stretch, this is going deep. He opens the face just enough to get it deep. Maestro.
Credits his time on the slopes for that ability to stretch and lunge to that degree.
Djokovic leads 3-1.
That was as impressive as I think we've seen this match, that game. He just outlined his defensive skills there, how good they are, which translates into you can't break him down. Not easily, anyway. And you feel for this man. I mean,
15
I've
love.
run out of superlatives for his defensive skills. I don't know what to say. Joke? I mean, is he playing a joke on us? He's that good?
30 love.
Doesn't have a great forehand return at times, Pouille, as well. It's
Yeah.
quite a loose shot. He gets incredible pace through the ball, but you can see how Novak's targeted it tonight constantly.
You've got to have something really big, and preferably more than one thing, don't you, to make inroads against him, you'd think.
Or, as Gilles Simon did that one time famously here, hit the ball up the middle of the court with nothing on it and extracted 100 unforced errors and nearly managed to get the win doing that. But yeah.
Cain.
Little bounce in his step, and once again his serve absolutely magnificent.
Djokovic
No
leads
way back here for
4-1.
Pouille.
Third set.
Razor sharp from the start, he's been rampant.
15 love. $30 love. $40 love.
Well, a good hold. Pride on the line at the moment more than a genuine ability to turn this around.
Compassionate crowd too, they want more. Supporting the Frenchman. Not for any other reason, that they probably feel for him a bit and want some form of extension to this match.
Novak's
15 love.
extraordinary alchemy that happened at Wimbledon so swiftly after everybody, even at the French, were questioning whether he was ever going to transform himself back into a major winner. But it happened so swiftly before our eyes, and he hasn't looked back since. Even though he lost the Queen's final to Cilic, having had match point, he said that was the tournament that he felt as though it was pretty close to happening. He was proved right as they moved the tennis circus about 10 miles southwest in London.
40 love. Djokovic.
Beguiling tennis from Djokovic.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 2.
Pouille has no answer.
Third set.
Rafa going for his second, Novak for his 7th. Just wait for Novak to administer the last rites on this one. It's been a terrific journey through the draw for Pouille. Big step forward, making the last 4 of a major.
15 all.
Yeah, I think to do well at this level, you've got to get here a couple of times. That's normally the process. The more times you give yourself a chance, the more experience you have in the back end of these major tournaments. The first experience at it, I'm sure, can be daunting, especially against this opposition.
15-13.
But a great performance from the Frenchman, really, when you take everything into consideration. Not so much tonight. He hasn't played at his best tonight, and to a large degree hasn't been allowed to, but we've seen him play better. But when you look at his 10 days here, 11 days, coming to an abrupt end, isn't it?
15-14.
This may be his best and worst experience in tennis all rolled into one, I think, Mark, tonight. And this man is on his way to the final.
Djokovic demolishes Pouille.
6-2, 6-2.
Hour and 23 minutes. It was clinical, it was efficient, it was everything it needed to be. He has his eyes on a bigger prize. Understandably, he takes the warm applause of this crowd. He was far superior in every facet of the game.